And then I remember when we visited him at that time, we were down they had, I guess we were there in the early afternoon, and it got to be time to get something to eat for supper, and they asked Dad and Mom were they going to stay for supper. They said, well, they'd like to. So Aunt Bertha turned around and said, Herschel, that was her son, says, go get us some fish for supper. And of course, it's a creek down there. So he says, looked at me, he says, come on, you want to go? I said, well, sure, so barefooted we went down, and I followed him. We went down to the barn, and I thought, all right, I'm the city guy, and I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm not going to question him what he's doing. He picked up a sledgehammer, put it on his shoulder, and we went down to the creek.
To go fishing.
Went in the creek to go fishing, And of course, now I'm curious as hell, what's he going to do? He went up the creek, and he found this one rock that was jutting out from the edge of the bank. And he come down on top of that rock with a sledgehammer. And boy, 6 or 8 fish came up out of the bottom, He selected the ones he wanted, put them in his gunny sack, And we went up the creek to another rock and did the same thing. We had all the fish you wanted in a matter of 10 minutes, So I learned how to go fishing.
That's Kentucky fishing.
Kentucky fishing.
Wow. So, I wonder how they learned that. Where did they get the idea for it?
I have no idea how they did it, but they did it.
Clever method, really.
Well, there's many things that they could do back in those days that you wouldn't think about now. But they did that then. So they got along fairly well. They had a lot of things that they could do. And I remember that one just as clear as anything.
So that was down in the Somerset area?
Yes. So I'm down out from the Somerset area.
Right.
But, it was back down in the old farm area. So, and I know that it was in that area later on, if you remember when you and I went down there, the old place that was still there. And I've got a board that came off of my grandfather's barn at the time,
Oh, yes.
His name was Hit John. And
I remember that place. It was kind of like a 2-room place.
It had 2 rooms, and they had a little runway between them, they were right next to each other. One of them they could cook in, and the other one was the bedroom.
Right.
And they had to separate them so in case the kitchen caught on fire, at least they had one room to keep, So, it was a great old place down there for that. But that's the one, if you remember when
I remember we went down there. And it was with your cousin
Lyle.
Yes,
right. Lyle.
And he had the 6-shooter on his hip.
Yeah, he had the 6-shooter on his hip. Well, back at the house right next to the old farm, he pulled out that gun when we were there, and he said, are you still a good shooter? And I said, well, no, just regular. And he says, all right, see that tree there? And he said, there's a knot just below that tree. He said, down below that knot, he says, let's hit that. So he pulled out a shot and he hit the tree. Then he handed me the gun. And I took a shot. He said, you missed. I said, no, I didn't miss. He said, yeah, you did. You didn't hit a thing. I said, all right. We went over there. He pulled out his pocket knife and he dug out 2 bullets out of the hole. So I said, he said, okay.